So I'm out in the garden this morning. I'm going to be harvesting some yarrow. The wild yarrow is what I'm looking for, and I have quite a bit of it growing out here. There's a batch over here, and it's just about the right point in the morning when the dew has pretty much dried off the plants that I'm going to be hunting for some tops so that I can make a tincture. Yarrow is good for lots of things, but it is an outstanding antiseptic for cleaning wounds. It is a good stauncher of bleeding, both internally and externally. In the wild, if you're out and about and you find you've got a wound that's bleeding, if you find some yarrow leaves or yarrow flowers, you can put it right on the wound and it will stop the bleeding for you, and you don't have to worry about dirty plant material. Obviously you want to find clean plant material, but the plant material, if it is clean, is antiseptic in and of itself, so you don't have to worry about putting it right on your wound. Now I have a bunch of it growing over here that I'm going to snag, just checking the garden out this morning. Everything's looking just brilliant. We've had just enough rain this summer to make everybody really happy. So here's the yarrow that I plan on harvesting right here. Beautiful, beautiful flowers. This yarrow self-seeded over here. I didn't plant it, and I'm going to leave quite a bit of it on the property this year so it'll seed even more. It's a pretty aggressive self-seeder, and I want it everywhere because I have a million uses for this plant. But today we're going to make the tincture. So this is our yarrow, Achillea millifolium. This flower has many parts to it. It's lots of little flowers on top and a nice feathery leaf. Really a beautiful plant. So I'm going to gather this and then we'll get back together inside to make our tincture. I'm preparing to make a tincture of yarrow. I'm going to use grain alcohol. Yarrow needs to be extracted with a very high amount of alcohol. Grain alcohol is about as high as you can get. So I'll be using that this morning. I won't be adding any water since I'm using the fresh plant. Plant has a lot of water in it to begin with. In my case today, I'm cutting it up with just heavy-duty scissors into small pieces. Some people like to put it right in a food processor or something like that to make it really small. Often the alcohol is added also to blend the two together. I think I'm going to just cut it small and then I'll add my alcohol to my plant material. So I'm going to work on that right now, chopping all this up into this bowl, and then I'll be back. Here is my beautiful chopped yarrow. I chopped everything, the flowers, the leaves, and the stems. I'm going to weigh it because I like to keep track of exactly what I'm doing here. I won't be as exact as the manufacturers are with their measurements. Even they are just making a good guess about the best possible combination based on the chemicals they want to extract from the yarrow. But we're going to basically follow Rico Check's model and use a 100%, or it's really grain alcohol, is not quite 100% alcohol, to extract our plant material, and I'm going to weigh it to see how much I actually gathered here. And it looks like I've got 2 1/8 ounces. I just want to see how many grams. 62 grams. That's going to be important in just a minute. So here's my Everclear that I'm going to use to extract my yarrow in. Everclear grain alcohol makes the mixing of water and alcohol a lot easier for herbs that require less alcohol, but in this case we're going to use it straight. Now, according to Rico Check's formula, I would need 1 to 2, meaning 1 part of my herb to 2 parts alcohol. In this case, 62 grams of herb to 124 milliliters of alcohol. But as you'll see, given the way that I do my extractions, it's going to be not enough alcohol to cover the herb. And that's a little more than 124 milliliters. You see, it's not very much. Actually, I'm going to add just a little bit more. Okay, So this plant material is going to go into this canning jar. I like using these wide mouth quart canning jars for making tinctures. If I'm making just a small amount, I might use a smaller size wide mouth jar, but in this case I'm making quite a bit, so I'm going to use the quart. Going to put the plant material in first. By the way, this smells wonderful. I just think what does it smell to me? It's not sweet like some sweet flowers, but it has its own really wonderful smell. Yarrow is also used to cool the body, reduce fever. It induces sweating when somebody has a high fever, so it's a good thing for fever either as a tea or as a tincture. Very cooling. It's also a bitter, and as such can be used as a tea prior to eating to get the digestive juices started. I'm going to put my alcohol in right now. And as you can see here, it doesn't actually cover the plant material. Now, if I wanted to run this through a food processor or a blender, I would get the plant material soaking, but I'd have to really reduce it to a very, very small amount in order to cover this herbal material. And I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to add more grain alcohol. I hope you found this video about yarrow helpful. It's my goal to share what I know so other people can make use of it. When you're working with herbs, particularly herbs that you're going to use internally or for home health care for your family, you want to make sure you use as many references as you possibly can. This video is just one of many. And we have many colleagues out there who are starting to make these types of videos, but there's no end to books on the internet. Available through lots of sources to help you with that. One of my favorites that helps me in making various tinctures and other herbal products is this book by Rico Check. It's a great source, but I use many. I usually find 3 to 4 or more references on making up some type of preparation with herbs before I'm confident that what I'm going to use is something that will be safe in my home with my family. There's it. Yarrow, Achillea millifolium. See you soon.